Okay, let's dive right into this explainer and peel back the surprising, layered history of a piece of candy you probably thought you knew inside and out. We are talking about the M&Ms. It's an absolute titan of the candy aisle, right? But it actually has a backstory that's way more fascinating than you might expect.
Let's start right off the bat by asking a question that, honestly, causes a ton of debates. So, do you swear the red ones taste better than the green ones? Or, maybe the blue ones just hit differently when you grab a handful?
Well, here's the cold, hard truth. Every single color tastes exactly the same, no matter what your brain tricks you into believing. The dye on the candy shell adds absolutely zero flavor to the traditional milk chocolate. It's all in our heads.
So, the crucial point here is that a standard milk chocolate M&Ms is actually this highly precise, almost scientifically engineered little confection. It weighs exactly 0.91 grams and packs about 4.7 calories. It's incredibly uniform and perfectly predictable every single time.
Section 1. Forged in World War II. A candy built for combat.
Let's look at how this all builds into an origin story that is shockingly gritty for such a playful treat. The M&M didn't start out in some whimsical candy shop. Forrest Mars actually conceived this idea in the 1930s to solve a literal military survival problem. See, he observed soldiers in the Spanish Civil War eating British Smarties and noticed how a hard sugar shell prevented the chocolate inside from turning into mush. Taking that concept, he patented his own hard panning process in 1941. He designed a treat that U.S. soldiers could carry right into tropical climates without it melting. In fact, during World War II, M&Ms were sold exclusively to the military. No civilians allowed.
This really highlights the wild irony of the name itself. The two M's stand for Mars and Murray. Forrest Mars partnered with Bruce Murray, who just happened to be the son of the president of the rival Hershey Chocolate Company. Now, why on earth would you partner with your biggest competitor? Because Hershey controlled the ration chocolate during the war. It was just a brilliantly strategic alliance to get the raw materials they desperately needed.
Following the war, we see the rapid early evolution of the brand. And there's a fascinating little fact here. The iconic M stamp was originally black when they introduced it in 1950 to create a unique trademark. Actually, the white M we all recognize today didn't even arrive until 1954, right alongside the launch of the peanut variety. Then, if we jump ahead to 1976, orange ends up replacing red, which brings us to a really dramatic moment in candy history.
Section 2. The Red Dye Scare. A colorful controversy.
Let's look closer at that 1976 timeline moment because it sparked a massive consumer controversy. People were totally panicking over a red dye called amaranth, which was suspected to be a carcinogen. Now, what's crazy here is that M&Ms never even contained this specific red dye. They used a completely different, totally safer red. But Mars pulled the color anyway, replacing it with orange, literally just to avoid the public panic. So it actually took a student's joke campaign to reinstate the red candies a full 11 years later. A college student at the University of Tennessee started this funny little movement to bring the red M&M back, and it picked up so much global steam that it pretty much forced Mars to reintroduce them in 1987, right alongside the new orange ones. It was a worldwide phenomenon.
Section 3. Marketing Marvels and Misses, Fumbles and Triumphs.
Okay, let's dive into the explosive growth of the brand in the 1980s and 90s, which, surprisingly, included one massive historic blunder. This really illustrates the cost of a missed opportunity. In 1982, Mars rejected an offer to place M&Ms in Steven Spielberg's movie, E.T. the Extraterrestrial. They basically said no thanks, leading rival Hershey to step in with Reese's Pieces. When E.T. became a colossal hit, Hershey enjoyed a massive 300% sales boom. It's literally one of the biggest missed product placement opportunities ever. Ouch.
But Mars bounced back with a marketing masterstroke in 1995. They decided to ditch the old tan candies and launched a massive phone campaign letting the public vote for a replacement. An overwhelming 54% of voters chose blue over the pink and purple options. It was a huge cultural event. I mean, Mars even lit up the Empire State Building in blue to celebrate, which obviously generated millions in free publicity.
Section 4. Rise of the Spokes Candies. From candy to celebrities.
Let's move along and see how this builds into the creation of the characters that truly define modern M&Ms. Mars completely revolutionized food advertising by giving each color a specific candy type and a distinct, mature personality. From the cynical and sardonic red all the way to the slightly neurotic orange, they transformed everyday snacks into beloved pop culture icons.
They even leaned into old urban myths, making green a seductive character based on that old 1970s rumor about green M&Ms being an aphrodisiac.
And this brilliantly illustrates their modern media savvy. In 2022, Mars made some slight design tweaks to make the characters more broadly representative, like putting the green M&M in casual clothing. When this sparked a backlash among conservative media outlets, Mars just leaned right into it. They used it to stage an elaborate viral Super Bowl stunt in 2023 where they jokingly retired the Spokes candies and brought in comedian Maya Rudolph to hijack the brand. She hilariously renamed it Ma and Ya's Candy-Coated Clams. Naturally, the beloved characters were suddenly reinstated in a press conference right after the game.
Section 5. More than just chocolate. A masterclass in adaptation.
Okay, let's dive into our final section to appreciate the sheer scale of this brand's cultural dominance. Today, M&Ms have embedded themselves globally in ways most food brands can only dream of. I mean, from being the official chocolate sponsor of NASCAR starting in 2006, to literally being handed out with the presidential seal to guests at the White House since 1988. They've even built massive M&M's World retail locations in places like Times Square, London, and Shanghai. And, looking to the future, they've pledged to go completely free of artificial dyes by August 2026.
I'll leave you with this to ponder. How did a simple 0.91-gram piece of rationed wartime chocolate trick the world into treating it like a living, breathing pop culture celebrity? It's honestly a true testament to incredible product design and brilliant adaptive storytelling. Thanks for joining us for this explainer, and we'll catch you next time.